Vamos ver. Aqui, entrega. Nossa, tem uma aqui que é 1350, mano, agora. Ah, pera, é o dos 3 bola. Agora que eu me dei conta. Tá, falta 15 desafios, a gente ainda não vai fazer. Não vai dar pra fazer, eu acho. Desafio das linhas de lei a gente não vai conseguir fazer, ou terminar no domingo, ou no sábado, esses 2. Esse aqui não tem como terminar essa semana. Esse aqui vamos já completar, vamos lá pegar a recompensa. Esse aqui eu não vou fazer. 1000 moedas mágicas. Isso aqui é quest da moradia, essas 3. A gente vai fazer agora a quest da moradia para saber o que em sã consciência é essa quest da moradia. Vamos ver. Vamos ver aonde ela está. F5, né? Bule, Doce Bule. Durante o evento permanente, a crise de Liyue já foi resolvida, e a maioria dos assuntos da cidade retornaram ao normal. Entretanto, todavia, né? A Madame Ping do terraço de Yunjin parece ter algo para falar ao viajante. Complete a missão para desbloquear o Bule de relaxar. Bule de relaxar. Tá, vamos lá, vamos para a missão. Bule Doce Jade, parte 1. Eita. A crise que pairava sobre o porto de Liyue se acalmou, e os negócios estão como sempre na cidade. No entanto, Madame Ping, que admira flores no terraço de Yujin, parece ter algo a mais a discutir com o viajante. A recompensa são esses itens aqui. Tudo da moradia. Vamos lá. Vamos ver o que Madame Ping tem a nos dizer. Madame Pingus. Madame Pinguça. Vamos ver o que ela tem a falar.
Children, come. You've arrived at just the right moment. I've been looking for you.
Como assim?
Oh, what is it, Granny? Need any help?
Oh, no. You've done so much for Liyue Harbor already. I could hardly ask for more. In fact, my old friends and I have been putting our heads together to think of what sort of gift we might give you in return.
A gift? For Paimon?
Você é muito gentil.
Oh, child, you are so very modest. Uncommonly so, even. But you mustn't decline this gift. I simply won't allow it.
Caramba.
When you traversed my old teapot in search of the cleansing bell, I heard your little friend mention that you often camp out in the wilds. That simply won't do. Especially since I imagine you still have a very long journey ahead of you. Fortunately, I have not yet grown so old as to see my subspace creation abilities atrophy.
Caramba! Madame Ping tem uma habilidade muito roubada, hein? O que é uma criação subespacial?
Did my friends never mention that to you? Well then, it is a blessing we old folks once received from Rex Lapis, part of our illumination, if you will. I will not go into too much detail, but subspace creation is the ability to create a small, autonomous pocket world. The teapot that you entered previously was a little trinket created using that ability.
Caramba, uma bugiganga, aquele espaço gigantesco. Eu quero essa habilidade também.
So, in the eyes of an adeptus, creating a magic teapot world is just child's play, huh?
Oh, indeed, the teapot is nothing to boast of. One such as myself must depart from this realm to create a world of one's own. Rex Lapis, on the other hand, moved mountains and seas. That is what one might call an exercise of true power. But that's enough nostalgia for now. The gift that I have prepared for you just requires a few final materials to add the finishing touch.
Quais são os materiais que estão faltando?
That's right! Finding stuff's what we're good at, after all.
Oh, settle down now, children. There's no need for you to go running hither and thither. I have already found a fleet-footed youngster to prepare what I need. What's more, I doubt that you would know how to find the materials I am searching for. Some of them are very rare indeed these days.
Ué, e quais são esses, se é que eu posso perguntar?
Well, for starters, I require some shimmer soil from the banks of Dihua Marsh. Back in the day, it could only be found where the glazed lilies thrived most profusely. You would have to dig downward, following the roots of the glazed lilies, and if you were lucky enough, you just might find a small patch of shimmer soil there.
Caramba.
But almost no one has been able to find shimmer soil in this manner since Dihua Marsh came to be the way it is today. Even more difficult to find is smaragdus jadeite, which must be chiseled from the rock of the chasm. Or so it used to be. Ever since the Blackcliff Forge opened for business, they've slowly but surely stripped the mines all but completely bare of it. In any case, smaragdus jadeite is an adepti treasure, and the adeptal power within is not something that most humans can withstand. Extended contact with it is, in fact, harmful to humans. Goodness knows if that child will succeed in finding these items.
Caramba, que criança é essa, mano? Pô, são itens muito raros, né, mano? Não é raro, é muito raro de conseguir esses itens. Meu Deus do céu. Vamos lá, quem é essa criança?
Well, since you're an adeptus, Granny, the person you asked for help, they must be an adeptus
Não.
too, right?
Yes. I suppose she does count as an adeptus.
She counts? How come there are so many adepti in Liyue Harbor? We seem to bump into them all the time. It feels like even when you go out to eat, you could be sitting next to an adeptus and never even know it.
Maybe so. Who can say? A fair few of my old friends are rather fond of mundane mortal life, after all.
I'm back, Granny. Oh, I don't believe we've met.
Allow
Oh.
me to do the honors. This child here is Yen Fei. She's the one helping run some errands for me. Yen Fei, I believe you already heard of the traveler and his traveling companion.
Of course, who hasn't? Much has been written about you in the Millilith's records. You became one of Liyue's most wanted after the Millilith marked you as a suspect following the incident at the Rite of Dissension. After which, you fought off the Millilith at Julian Karst and made contact with the Fatui. Before finally defeating an ancient god together with Granny and her associates, and subsequently being cleared of any and all suspicion by the Chiseng. What a shame.
Como assim uma pena? Tipo, eu fui acusado injustamente. Que absurdo. Ah, e que legal eles introduzirem Yanfei assim na história. Legal. Achei legal.
A shame that we didn't meet sooner. If we had, well, I can't say that I would have been able to clear you of suspicion immediately, but it certainly would have been less, embarrassing for you. Allow me to introduce myself once more. I'm Yanfei, a legal advisor. Got a legal problem? You can come right to me.
Nossa.
Here's my business card. You'll find it has my contact details and office address. Keep it handy. If you have an urgent issue, just leave me a note at this address. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, I offer a very generous discount for first-time customers.
All right, Yanfei, all right. Let's get to the business at hand. I do not think these two are in any dire need of legal assistance at the moment. You'll have to excuse Yanfei. She's always been like this. Ever the talkative one when it comes
Mano, eu pensei que a Yanfei. Eu pensei que Yanfei ia ser tipo uma personagem que gosta de ler livros e tal, porque as habilidades dela são escrituras e tal, né? Mas agora que ela se apresentou, a gente vê que ela na verdade é uma advogada. Ela é uma advogada, mano. What the hell? Quer dizer que tem advogadas no mundo de Genshin Impact. Ela é uma advogada, uma advogada. Você realmente é uma adeptus?
I was gonna ask the same question. You seem really different from the ones we've met before.
An adeptus? I guess, kinda. My old man said he was one anyway. He mentioned that he once campaigned with Rex Lapis for a long old time, and then after that was all over, he went back and married my mom. They had me, and once I was all grown up, the two of them upped and left on a journey, leaving me with Granny here.
Caralho, mano, como assim? Uma advogada fofa. Cara, isso soa muito. Não pode mais dizer.
Well, that's a bit casual for an adeptus. Aren't you guys supposed to sign solemn contracts to protect Liyue Harbor and all that stuff? What do you mean he just went back to get married?
Well, my dad did say that he'd talked it through with Rex Lapis, and that he was fine with it. Even contributed towards the wedding gift, apparently. Anyway, let's not dwell on that too much. So, Granny, I've gotten a hold of most of the stuff you asked for, except for Smaragdus Jadeite. I couldn't find any at all. The chasm's been sealed off, and there's just no way in. Couldn't secure any documentation either. Looks like the Ministry of Civil Affairs is serious about keeping it strictly locked down.
Is that so? But Smaragdus Jadeite is really rather essential. Yanfei, are you sure you can't find some other way? They have helped Liyue greatly after all. It is only right that they are duly rewarded.
I know, Granny, you've told me 1,000 times already. Well, the chasm's definitely a no-go, but there's still a chance we can figure out some alternative means of procurement. Hold on a moment. Let me have a look.
Whoa,
Como assim?
it's a really thick book. What kind of things do you write in there?
Commercial consultancy. Or Snezhnaya. Ah, found him. Krusel. A Snezhnayan merchant who once came to me with some legal queries on certain articles in the legal codices. If my memory serves, all of them had to do with rare ores. He mentioned that he was considering acquiring some Smaragdus Jadeite to make hairpins, and wanted to know if there were any legal ramifications that he should be aware of. Said he was planning to sell them in Snezhnaya. So, I guess I'll go look for him. With any luck, he'll have gotten his hands on some Smaragdus Jadeite, or might have an idea of where we can find some.
Certo, eu e Paimon vamos com você.
You want to join me? I suppose that's no problem, but it's best if you just stand by and watch. If you try to get involved, you'll only risk placing yourself in legal jeopardy.
Wow, an adeptus imploring us to avoid incurring legal liability. Well, that's a first for sure. Best we be a little more careful than usual while we're with her.
Eu espero, né? Porque com o Zhang foi uma desgraça. Vamos lá, fale com Cross. Então quer dizer que a Yanfei é uma advogada, rapaz. Uma advogada. Quem diria? Não é aqui? Ah, tá. É lá embaixo. Uma advogada. E vocês viram, né? As referências chinesia, minérios. Toda história que entra, todo pet novo que entra é citado chinesia, chinesia, chinesia. E a gente sabe que em chinesia vai dar. No chinesia, se você acha que o Inazuma vai ser louco, chinesia, mano, vai ser uma coisa de outro mundo. Vai ser tipo a reunião dos Vingadores lá, mano. Vai ser a treta incubida em alma e personificada lá, mano. Tô até vendo, mano. Quando chegar a chinesia, vai ser top, hein? Vai ser top.
Hello, Mr. Crossell. How's business been?
O que é chinês? Não, chinesia. Chinesia é o nome da cidade do... É o nome do país do Tartaglia, do Shield. É tipo como se fosse a Rússia aqui no Genshin. E vai ser a Rússia. A Rússia é onde tá a Arconte de Gelo. Aqui capturou... Aqui pegou o Arconte do Vento e pegou a peça do Arconte da Arconte de Gel. Chinesia.
Oh, good, very good. All thanks to your advice, Miss Yanfei. What brings you here today?
You're too kind. I was simply doing my job. Now, I believe that the last time we met, you mentioned that you were looking to source some Smaragdus Jadeite to make hairpins. Have there been any further developments on this front?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, in the end I did acquire a small piece of Smaragdus Jadeite and had it fashioned into a pair of hairpins. Miss Yanfei, might I presume that you have an interest in the hairpins? I must apologize, I've already rented them out to a lady named Zhi Qiao. If you'd like to inspect them, you may have to wait quite some time.
Wait, isn't Smaragdus Jadeite really rare? Aren't you worried about the hairpins getting damaged or lost while they're being rented out?
No, I'm not worried in the slightest, because I signed a contract with Miss Zhi Qiao before renting them to her. The contract makes it quite clear that if she loses or damages the item in question, she must compensate me for its full original value. In return, I included a clause that guarantees the Smaragdus Jadeite is genuine, with a penalty of 10 times the item's value payable by me to Miss Zhi Qiao in the event that it is shown to be a fake.
Realmente é contrato com todos os preços bem definidos, realmente.
Guaranteed genuine, with 10 times the value payable if this claim is shown to be false. Yes, these terms are very clear indeed.
Of course. This way, both the client and I have the assurance we need. To ensure fairness, each of us has retained an original copy of the contract.
In that case, might you know where Miss Zhi Qiao lives? We'd like to pay her a visit and have a look at the hairpins.
Oh, of course. She wrote her address down when we signed our contract. Here, I'll mark it on your map for you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Crossell. We'll be off now.
Here and Liyue.
Procure Jinkiao. Jinkiao. Ué, aqui em cima. Eu pensei que ela ia morar longe pra caramba, ela mora aqui em cima ainda. Na área comercial? Não, ela tá aqui em cima, na verdade. Ela tá no terraço. O que ela tá fazendo no terraço? O que é ela?
Oh, whatever shall I do?
Licença, você é a Jinkiao?
Yes, that's me. Is there something I can help you with?
Enfim.
How do you do, Miss Zhi Qiao? We understand from Mr. Crossell that you recently rented a pair of hairpins from him. My associates and I are very interested in them. Would you mind letting us take a look at them?
The hairpins? I can't lend them to you right now.
I've lost them.
Caramba.
I don't know how it could have happened. I always kept them right by my side, and I hadn't even worn them yet. I spent so much money on them. If I have to pay their original value, there's no way I could come up with that amount of money on such short notice.
Caramba, mano. Para que você precisava deles, afinal de contas?
My family is in the ore business too, but business has been suffering ever since the chasm was sealed off. We now have a backlog of paid-up orders just sitting around, so we've been having to purchase some stock from other ore merchants to complete them. A big banquet is coming up in a few days, and several ore merchants I know of will be there. I need this opportunity to mingle and discuss prices. That's what the hairpins were for, well, to keep up appearances. I can't have them looking down on me. But now that I've lost the hairpins, what will I do?
Why does Paimon have a sudden strong sense of déjà vu?
Caramba, talvez porque esta é a parte em que dizemos podemos ajudar.
Would you really? I sent a commission to the Adventurers Guild, but I haven't heard anything back from them yet.
Hold on. Don't run off looking for the hairpins just yet. Mr. Chow, would you let me have a look at the rental contract you signed?
Huh? Well, I mean, sure, I have it right here. Here you are.
Let me see.
That's right! Yanfei said she's a legal advisor, didn't she? Maybe she can help Juchao somehow.
Esse seria meio injusto com o Cross.
True. Though surely there must be a win-win solution.
Right. I finished reading the contract. The terms are very clear, and they do indeed stipulate that you must pay Mr. Crosso the original value of the hairpins as compensation for the loss. Furthermore, the contract also expressly states that the amount of compensation must take current market prices into account. And given the rarity of Smaragdus Jadeite, I fear that the final amount of compensation may end up being significantly higher as a result.
Even higher? Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Juchao looks like she's about to faint.
However, all of this is assuming that it is indeed genuine Smaragdus Jadeite that was inlaid into the hairpins.
Did you really have to pause before saying that part? Anyway, the hairpins are lost, so how exactly would we be able to find out if the Jadeite is genuine or not? Whichever way you look at it, we've got to start by finding those hairpins.
Except that if we found the hairpins, there'd no longer be any need to check whether the Jadeite is genuine, would there?
Caramba, assuntos jurídicos.
Seems right.
Please, don't trouble yourselves over this. The fact is, I lost the item and I should pay compensation per the contract.
Realmente é muito dinheiro.
However much it is, I will have to pay it. My family are merchants after all. It's vital that we keep our word and respect our contracts. Now that it's come to this, I really shouldn't keep Crossel in the dark any longer. I'll go and inform him of the issue and then negotiate the amount of compensation.
Yes, legally speaking, it seems this is the most sensible course of action. But before that, I have some questions about the hairpins. So hold on a moment, Mr. Chow. When you first touched the hairpins, what did you feel?
What did I feel? Well, I remember that the gemstones set into the pins were perfectly smooth to the touch, like the finest quality jade.
Ué.
My family has seen much jade pass through its hands in the past, so I am quite certain of my judgment in this matter.
Smooth to the touch, finest quality jade.
Parece estranho, porque de acordo com o que a vovó lá falou, ela é uma joia que tem um poder incontrolável, né? Então, seres humanos normais, ao tocar nela, sentiriam pressão psíquica, energética de alguma coisa.
No, it's nothing. I just need to re-examine a few things. Let's head over to Mr. Crossel's.
Vamos falar com o Mr. Crossels.